Woo-wee. Look at that pig of a filthy, dirty, caked on transmission. Oh my Lord, you guys. Hey, thanks for joining back along with us here at Freedom One Garage. I'm getting down on the ground. That's why I'm making weird noises. Yeah, we are back in the heated shop. I'm probably going to say that for several more videos because I'm so happy about it. But we are back on the Buick Special. And if you go back, we did speedometer repair, some lighting. We fixed all the engine oil leaks and some other stuff, and now it's time to get under here because we've got transmission leaks, and I'll show you what's going on. I mean, these Dynaflows, it's got the automatic Dynaflow with kind of the reversed shifter, but it's leaking at it's not the torque ball, I don't think. Maybe it is. But there's a U-joint in behind this round housing here and some rubber seals and stuff. It's leaking there. The pan may or may not be leaking. Both of the and I'll have to get the technical terms, but these are like the high and low. This is one of the main leaks between the case of the transmission itself, and then this hole from here forward is part of the bell housing. It's leaking really bad right there, and then it's also leaking probably out of the front seal just a little bit. So a little bit different than like a turbo hydromatic. The torque converter in these will not just slide off. You have to pull the transmission, and then you have to disassemble the torque converter to get to the point where you can pull the back part of the converter out and get to that input seal. But we've got to get the whole thing out so we can seal it up properly. I think we ordered all the gaskets and seals that we need. This is a little bit different, quite a bit different actually. The whole rear axle, other than a panhard bar back there, is located off of this as a torque tube car, which means that the drive shaft is not exposed. There's a tube here, and you have these two triangulated lower links that go to the rear axle, and then, you know, the park brake hangs off of it, the brake lines run down it, everything kind of runs on this torque tube here. But it's a captured drive shaft inside there. And what happens is the transmission will start to leak out of the torque ball here, and this tube's supposed to be pretty much dry, but it'll start to leak, and then it'll drain down here, and then it'll look like you got a rear end problem or something, but it's really just leaking transmission fluid out of this section here where it connects to another section that connects to the snout of the rear axle. So there is a drain plug here, so I think Buick probably knew this was going to leak. We're going to pop that drain plug out and see if we can get some transmission fluid out of this tube. And then what you do on these jobs is we'll have to remove the torque tube up here at the back of the transmission, and then we're going to put a couple ratchet straps, one on each side of this rear axle, and get it to the back frame or the bumper or something, and we're going to pull here, and we're going to pull this whole assembly back about, I don't know, we probably need about 2 inches to get it off the splines. And then we can do, you know, the bell housing bolts. This cross member's got to come out right here, and then we should be able to bring the transmission back and then down and back and forward and get it out of this area right here. That's the plan. And then once we have it out, we're gonna pressure wash it, get it all degreased, and then we're gonna walk through, you know, sealing this thing up the best we can. Most of, you know, even the guys older than me say, you know, a Dynaflow, it leaks. You know, the plan is to control the leakage. And right now it's pretty much out of control, but we're going to try to seal it up. If not 100%, you know, 99.5 or better. Really the only thing that's preventing us from sliding things back right now is this more harder park brake cable. There's not a lot of slack here. There's slack in the brake line. It'll come back. Everything else will come back as an assembly, but this guy, there's not enough slack. It's not going to want to let the back axle and torque tube go backwards. So I think we can get this little clampulator thing off here and separate the sheathing from the cable, and if we can pop this out this way, then everything can slide. The bracketry can slide on that cable, and we won't even have to mess with the adjustment stuff back here. That's my plan. All right, we got updates. We are just about ready to try and lower this guy out of here, and I don't know, here's my light. So these 4 bolts are out, and that has been separated. We did end up having to take the adjuster apart for the park brake. This guy came out really easy. It was just that one clip, and then there's a little spring right there. And then we've got 2 kind of light to medium duty straps. I'll show you that in a second. And we pulled back that entire torque tube and rear axle assembly. Now we're down to, I think, 1.5 bolts holding this cross member on here. We've taken these 4 bolts out and 2 nuts off, and I think we only have we've got 2 bolts on the cross member on this side. Otherwise, linkages pulled off. So what we're going to do is we're going to we'll take the cross member off, and this will come down, and hopefully we'll be able to move that snout out about here, and then we'll be able to get it off of the pegs on the bill housing. So that's the plan. We don't have any bill housing bolts out yet, but we've got the floor jack rigged up with the transmission, homemade transmission adapter, and yeah, we're gaining. Cooler lines on this guy were kind of a pain in the butt. There's one, the I don't know if it's the charge or the turn, but the front one is hard to get to. Just like really hard to get to. Here's a better idea of the strap location. Got them wrapped around the axle on each side, and then we just got them hooked on the bumper brackets and just kind of ratchet it back, kind of try to keep it even. And it really was, you know, fairly drama free. So we're gonna put you on one of the, you know, wax and grease remover tripod or something kind of over in this general area, and, you know, try to get some footage that way of us hopefully not dropping this transmission on the ground. Sorry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, so it's out, but the car's not high enough, as usual. You know, this always happens working on the ground. We're gonna try to jack it up to where we can just roll this out the other side, and it should be possible to do that. We'll see what happens here. Dang it. Try something here. Rotate. There we go. Woo-wee. Look at that pig of a filthy, dirty, caked on transmission. Oh my Lord, you guys. Yeah. Been leaking just a little bit. We're gonna put a cap over the speedo cable, find a way to plug the tail shaft and the dipstick tube hole in the pan, and we're taking this outside and we're gonna hit it with the pressure washer for a while. This is just nuts. All right, we got her. Buick is all parked up out there. It did roll back, and I think we can roll it around a little bit as long as we don't get crazy. It doesn't seem to, that rear end doesn't seem to want to move a whole lot. Floor swept up, tools put away, everything's cleaned up. And over here on the bench, we have our newly pressure washed Dynaflow ready for disassembly. So here's what we're talking about. This gasket on this side of the case down here is leaking, but we can't get to that gasket. We got to get to the bill housing, and we got to get this, I guess, intermediate plate off. So we'll have gasket O-ring there, gasket O-ring there, plus we've got a seal on the back side of the torque converter, and this torque converter will not just slide out. All right, you got to take it apart to get to the back side and unbolt it in a manner that will, you'll see, make it come out. Now we still have to drain it. There's 2 drains in this guy. But yeah, and then, you know, the torque ball end, that was all leaking. Here's something interesting. Look at this flaw in the casting right on this nubbin for the bolt to thread into, and it's full of dirt and stuff, so it's been that way for a long time. It's just a flaw, but there's a hole there in the casting. It doesn't leak out of there, but that's really interesting. We'll probably throw, you know, clean that out as best we can. We'll throw some JB in there. Either way, it's out and ready to get torn into. Thanks for watching, subscribing, liking, all the good things. See you on the next video.